All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get going. Mr. Dom is with us again from APIS, and he is going to talk to us about the forums tool. So remember that discussion forums that we've been using that's going away. That is not supported by Sakai 11, so just forums. And Jason has told us that there's a way to move the discussion forums to forums. It might be a little funky, but we can get there. But he's going to show us how to use forums effectively, and we'll just go from there. Okay.
All right, super. Thank you, Laura.
Sure.
And thanks everyone for
We're zooming live.
We're zooming. Everyone out there in Zoom land, hello. So today we're going to focus on the forums tool. As Laura mentioned, the discussion forums tool is no longer going to be around. We do have a way to migrate your historical data. I'll show that to you today. And then we'll also spend some time just getting our hands dirty with the forums tool. We'll create a forum, we'll create a topic, we'll talk about some best practices, we'll look at the settings, we'll talk even about the toggle tag that I heard someone mention earlier. Before I get started though, I just want to remind everybody that the Sakai 11 upgrade schedule and site is on the main screen here. So if you will browse to shepherd.edu Sakai, this is for our Zoom audience and for the recording, Sakai-11. On this page, Rich and Laura are updating all the communications and the videos and the other assets that are going to come along with migrating. So it's a good one-stop shop for you to take a look at all things exciting about Sakai 11. And then the top link, shepherdtest.apus.edu/portal. That is your Sakai 11 test instance. A little bit about this test instance is that you can't break anything in there. This test instance was a copy of your real Sakai as of about June. So everything that you did in regular Sakai as about for the spring semester should be in there. So I encourage you to go into shepherdtest.apus.edu and you will see your courses in Sakai 11. And that's where we're going to play around today as well. Thanks for that PowerPoint, Rich. To start off, I'm in your production Sakai right now. You'll notice I'm in this pretty old psychology course, and on the left-hand side here, I've got the discussion forums tool. That's the tool that is going away. And then beneath that, I have the forums tool. And I wanted to show you our first stab at migrating some of the discussion forums data into the forums data. So let's take a quick look. So for those of you who are using or familiar with the discussions forums, I'll click into class discussions, and then I'll click into this topic title that reads prompt number 7, lock and the Declaration of Independence. We have a couple people joining us. This is the most exciting part of the presentation, so I'm going to give you a chance just to sit down and I'll recap real quickly. We are in Sakai production, and we've made our first stab at taking a legacy course and converting the discussion forums and making it available to you to read in the forums tool. I know there was some concern from some faculty that wanted to pull their prompts out or maybe wanted to go back and reference some historical information that happened in those courses. And so I'm in a discussion forum course from a 2011 course, I believe. Is that right? 2011 40? Would that be a 2011 course by the naming convention? Up here? Yeah. So we picked an old course, and then I'm in this first topic here, prompt number 7, Locke and Declaration of Independence. So we'll click in here. And I assume that our author is Stephanie Slocum. Schaefer was a faculty or still is a faculty here. And this was probably their discussion prompt, and then the conversation follows. Alexandra is next. And then it looks like we have Ethan Carr, and there's another myriad of posts here. So we took the script and we tried to take that information out and sort of put it into the new forums tool that we'll be using with Sakai 11 moving forward. Pretty similar here, right? So we had questions, discussion forum, student lounge, questions, class discussion, student lounge, and we'll go into the classroom discussions. I did notice that these are inverted. We'll have to change that. But this Locke prompt number 7 should be at the top. It's at the bottom. And then in here, it looks like we have Stephanie's initial post, and then Alexandra's post, and so on and so forth. So I was real excited about this. What does this mean? Well, this means that we'll be able to most likely give you a historical record in your old courses, right? If in your spring courses and before, we should be able to go back and take a look at that information. What this doesn't mean, though, is you're still going to have to go through the process of creating forums in your new courses. There's a lot of settings and other things involved with the forums tool that are not necessarily going to map over. So your content's there, you can copy your forum prompts out, the discussion will be there for reference, but it's still important that we learn how to use the new forums tool, its purpose, and its settings. And so there may be some course redesign involved or necessary for you starting in the next spring semester in 2018. Are there any questions about the migration path or for the old to the new? Okay, great. With that said, I'm in Sakai, I'm in shepherdtest.apis.edu now. This is where you can also log in with your username and password, and you'll see your collection of courses. You'll notice it looks and feels different already because I'm in 11. And I'm going to spend the rest of our time together discussing the forums tool, which is different than the discussion forums. First, we'll just do an anatomy lesson, and then we'll go through and play along and build one. Where it reads weekly forum topics, that is the forum. A forum is only a box, it's only a container, it's only a label. It does not contain any topics in it, and students can't post to forums. They're just a billboard. Without a topic, they have no relevance and students cannot see them. So this weekly forum topics is a forum container, and then within there are topics. And the one topic I have here reads week 1 topic, Harvey impacts. Students can post in topics, and then I can add another topic inside of this forum, and we'll do that together. Within topics are conversations. There are 2 conversations in here, 2 folders, both posted by me, but imagine in your mind's eye that these are different students. So we'll start back from the top. So we have forums, which contain which you cannot post in. They're just a label, they're just a container to put your topics in. Then we have topics, and then we have conversations. So there's really only 3 tiers. And then within conversations, we have replies. You also notice these viewful descriptions. For those of you who are used to using the discussion forums tool, the old tool, you may have posted your prompt or your direction to the students, the direction for the academic discourse or what they were going to write about, and you probably went up there in that example and posted it first. Hey class, my name's Jason. What I'd like you to do is talk about the impacts of the economy of Hurricane Harvey in Houston and the downstream effects on X, Y, and Z socioeconomic group. Please discuss, show me your citations. And you'd go in there and you probably post that as the first post, and then the students would come in and reply to you. So that whole paradigm is going to change with this right here. Is this view full description area is where I encourage you to post that prompt, right? That direction. The reason I do that is twofold. One is it's outside of the discussion forum area. It's on the front page. It's not a folder in your folder, so they just don't reply to you, and that will make sense. And then the second reason is when you import your forums from one course to another course, this information will come over. So you don't have to rewrite it 100 times or every time that you teach. When you import forums forward, though, all the conversations that are in there, including yours, are wiped away. So if you continue to put your forum prompts in there as the first post, they'll be gone on import. But the information that you put in the view full description, the information that where you're probably telling them what your expectations are and how they should proceed and what they should talk about in that forum, if you put it here in the full description area, it will always be there. And you can also put attachments here. Maybe you want a rubric or you want some other information. It's just an open rich text editor where you'll be able to put even videos if you wanted to help them along with the direction in this area. Okay, so that's the anatomy lesson. Now let's go through and create one ourselves and look at the fields and discuss about all the options that are available to you when you're creating your forums for discourse and engagement in your classroom. This example aside, at the top here, where my mouse is, I will use the button to create a new forum. The forum title is what will appear in the big words. I'm going to use the example week 1 let's do week 2 forum. Let's key some information in the short description area so we can see what it looks like on the display. Sometimes here, especially for the newly initiated, if they're not used to clicking that triangle down, I say, please see, I usually put this on the topic, so we'll double this. Please see view full description for details about this week's topic. And then the description area, this is when you click that arrow down, that's where that information goes. So let's just get some information in here. If we wanted to add an attachment, we could. I usually don't put very much information in the forums area. I usually drive a lot of this information in the topic, so we'll do that. But when it comes to these forum postings and the availability and the grading, I'm going to leave all that alone. And we're going to handle all that at the topic level, and that'll become apparent why I do that. If I save this now without adding a topic, I have a week 2 forum, and I've got a full description here. But let's hop into this course as one of our students and see what their experience is, because we haven't added a topic to this yet, right? We've just added a forum, and I want to drive home the point, the importance of adding a topic. So we'll hop out and we'll come in as one of our Hobbit students. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. So we've got Frodo and we've got Bilbo, and they're both in this site with us to help us with the forums. So there's Frodo's view, and he can only see the forum topics and the week 1 Harvey impacts. He can't see that week 2 forum that we just created because there's nothing for Frodo to post in. We haven't added a topic yet. So let's hop out of Frodo and take care of that. Now that we're back in the forums tool, you also get a nice tooltip here. it's obviously been a problem in other institutions, or they wouldn't have taken the time to let you know that there needs to be at least a topic for the forum to be active. So we'll come back into forum settings. And at the very bottom in your workflow, instead of saving, there's a big button here that reads just save this forum, and add a topic while I'm at it. And so that's the one that we'll click. Save settings and add topic. So for this topic, and we'll call this topic, I usually like to get creative and I'm drawing a blank. Maybe a participation from the crowd, just throw some crazy words out there for me. Anything. Box lunches it is. Thank you, Laura. Okay, box lunches is our topic title. Here's where we usually put view full view full description for details about this forum post, or however you want to phrase that. However you want to give a tooltip to the student, to the user, to drop that triangle down so they could read about what they need to post in the box lunches topic. So view full description for details about this week's topic. And again, we'll drive some data into this description field. This is the same workflow as creating the forum. And this is what the student will read when they pull the view full description down. And then now let's spend a little bit more time. Adding attachments, I do see this used a lot, especially if you have some matrix or rubric on a Word doc or some type of information that you're going to show to them on how you're going to evaluate their forum. Or if you have any ancillary documents, supporting documentation about the forum prompt that you would like them to read and respond to, it will accept PDF, Excel documents, Word documents, etc. Topic posting. Let's look at our first option here, lock topic. The lock topic feature, what I use it for is if I have week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5 through week 14 forums, and I'm at the end of week 3, our discussion has concluded, I'll come back in the settings and lock the topic. What that does is it allows the users to come in and read them, but it does not allow them to continue to participate. Because when I'm in week 5, I've spaced out week 3. I mean, we've moved on. And so if it's okay if I want the students to encourage and continue to discuss, and it's up to you, but depending on how your model is, they can continue to discuss in week 3, but that way I know that you may have to unlock it for extensions, but that's what it's for. So if you want to keep everyone locked set, you can come in after the week over and use that lock topic there. Or you can lock them all ahead of time, and then on the Monday, unlock them when you want to open them. But there's also date settings that allow you to do that. And you don't want to be burdened with having to come in and lock everything on Sunday night, because the night you forget, the Monday morning, all the students are coming, it's going to be locked, and it's going to drive a bunch of ticket into Rich, and then he's going to be looking for you for permission to unlock it. But anyway, I think typically what I use the lock topic for is if the discussion is ended and there's no expectation to come back, but it also allows students to read only, and they come back and get the information there, especially if they need it for a midterm or something else later on. The moderate topic. So I don't see this used much in my world, but what you would use it for is if you have to read and approve every post that goes forward. So if there are some types of conversations that you think require you to moderate them, you can choose that, but please know you'll have to come in and you have all kinds of messages, you'll read them through, and as soon as you approve them, they'll appear there. Again, I don't see it used very often at all. I don't see a use case here for it either, but there may be a situation that warrants it, and that's what it does, is this, the instructor role has to approve things before they post. Require users to post before reading. This one's really cool. I see this used more and more. I see some shaking heads, yes. What this does is, when a student first instead of me explaining it to you, let's go in as Bilbo. So Bilbo View full description for details about this week's topic. So there's a little tooltip there that we put in the short description. We can pull down the description, and here's the information about what the box lunches topic is, or how we want the information to go. By the way, the reason that bounces is when you copy and paste things out of the topic, you pick up the toggle tag, the toggle HTML tag. So if you copy and paste this, and then I go paste this into another topic, it will have an extra toggle tag. And then that's what, I don't know, we were discussing that if you click this and then it goes like that. There are occasions where you click this and then the behavior will go like that. And you're like, what? I can't even read that. It goes like this and then like that. And you're like, oh, it just closed on me. It goes like this and then like that. It's because that extra toggle tag was copied. So if you screen scrape your topic descriptions and go make another form with them in the HTML, you'll see an extra topic tag. But anyway, we'll write a script to remove those if we see those. But that's what that behavior. That's how it's produced, is from screen scraping, and then you pick up that tag. But anyway, so let's go in as Frodo, and remember, as Bilbo, we came in here because we said must participate in the forum first, right? So let's click into our box lunch, and we can't see anything yet. There could be 15 students' posts in here, and so what the student is presented is say, hey, we would like you to post first, and then you could come in and read. And so I'll take a step back, and the typical use case for forums are, hey, you need to come in and post your original work, right? And then I want you to reply to some other people. Let's get some discourse going and some engagements. Let's get some ideas. Here's your idea. Here's one more. Here's mine. And we'll throw some grades at it to encourage participation. Well, the fear is, and it may be legitimate, especially in some cases, is the student may go in there and 7 or 8 other students have already posted their ideas, and they're grand ideas. And they've learned from them, but they may accidentally also borrow from those ideas. And so then the student isn't really posting their original work anymore. The student is posting work that may be borrowed from other people. So what this does is this would encourage your students to come up with their original thoughts first, post, and then they can go through it and read everybody else's. You can experiment with classes with it on or off and see how it works. Now, as soon as Bilbo posts, he'll have access to all the forums and all the replies, and he can certainly go in and do it. But that's the purpose of that setting. Let's go back into the settings and talk about the other options that we have available to us when creating topics in the forums tool. Okay, so we'll hop back into topic settings. Did everyone see how I did that? You want me to back up a little bit? I'm racing around. So if we want to get back into our topic settings, we have some tips out here. So there's forum settings. I generally don't do anything in the forums. I just give it a name and that's it. And just let it be a label or a container. And I drive all my settings into the topics. Even the gradebook, you want to only, when you hook it up to the gradebook, one topic gets one grade item in the gradebook, if that's how you're grading it, if it is being graded. Okay, so require users to post. Posts are anonymous. This is another one of those like moderate. I don't have a use case for it. I haven't really seen one. Be warned, they are truly anonymous. Every user gets a 6 to 7 digit alphanumeric digit kind of code associated on the author column instead of their name. So if you were planning on grading them, you wouldn't have a clue who they were. You couldn't even give them a grade. So they are truly anonymous. So if you do need to have an anonymous feedback forum where you want people to feel free about giving you criticism or criticizing the class or something else, or it's a hot topic in politics, maybe people don't want to put their name with their affiliation or who knows, but they're anonymous. Availability settings, there's show immediately. It's typically what I do. Or if you want to you could use open dates, right? So it requires a little administrative work at the beginning of the course. So you pick the Monday morning or the Sunday night that you want those forums to open, and they'll pop open, and then that way students don't work. You certainly don't want too much work ahead in the forums tool, because they're supposed to be that weekly discussion. Here's one caution to you. We had this question in yesterday's seminar about the close dates. I would not populate the close dates ever. If you do, put them up, maybe 100 days. I wouldn't put anything here. What this does is this removes the topic from display, period. So that if a close date matures, then they won't see it anymore. That's even for the students that have participated in it and need to go back and possibly reference that conversation for some other work they're doing. When the close date happens, the forum's just gone. It's removed from view from the students. I don't see a use case. If there's obviously some use case out there, or the field wouldn't be in there, but I would not use the close dates, mostly because that's the student's work and that's their voice. And if they're in week 6 and they want to reference something in week 3 and it's closed, I'm upset. I mean, I have my ideas, they're out there, and now I can't act. You've taken them away from me. So if you do want to, as we discussed, close it from participation, come in after the end, and then let's use the lock topic feature. But the close date is, they should have more explanation, another tooltip there for you, I believe, because to me that just says, oh, it's over. You should still, to me, I would assume that as a faculty member that I can still go in and access and read it. But you can't. So when you get tickets from students or messages from students and they go, I can't see the forums, and you're gonna, I have a close date in there, of course, and then you just wipe it out, and then it will show it to them, and then come up and click the lock topic, and then they can read it. The open dates are nice though, right? So then, as long as you pick the right day, as for the 14 weeks that the course goes by, it takes some time, 5 to 10 minutes to go in and plug them all in, but then they'll just pop for the students all the time, and you don't have to remember to come in and unlock them, or you can just show immediately. And then all your discussions will show immediately if that's how you would like. And you can drive the instruction through an announcement or some other way, encouraging students that let's work on the discussion the week that we're in, and we're not here to get ahead. Okay, lastly, or almost lastly, we'll talk about I populated one gradebook item ahead of time of this presentation. I called it Forum 1. So whatever items that are in your gradebook will appear here, and this is how you associate it to the gradebook. You have institutional permissions set by role. Students can do certain things, instructors can do certain things, etc. They can be edited here, but I encourage you just to stay away from this and keep this closed. We already know what they do. And another thing is students are used to these permissions in one site, and if they get into yours and the behavior is changed, there's no consistency, and they're wondering why, and they think it's broken, and they think you're broken because it used to work in everyone else's site, but for some reason your forums work differently. So I would remove that from display altogether, but I don't have that ability. The permissions are pretty much set on all courses by. Now, at the end here, if we would like to add another topic, so we would have 2 topics in one forum, we have that ability to do so. And you can do that the way I see it done both ways. I see a week 1 forum with a week 1 topic, and then a week 2 forum with a week 2 topic, or I see a label that says all the weekly forums, and that's the forum, and then week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 topic inside that forum. I don't know if that makes sense, but you can choose it. You can do it either way. So let's say that I'll just let you, and then let's come out here. So that would be this model, right? So I have week 2 forum with the week 2 topic. This one would maybe be, let me add some topics in here. Topic 2. Topic 3. Topic 4. And we'll just save there. So I don't know, maybe you have one forum that's, discussions. Maybe you have another forum that talks about current events, or how you want it to display is up to you. You can have one forum for each topic. I like the way the white space works on this. I think it visually looks good. But then there's also, you can just create one forum and put all your topics on it. Remember, don't drive any of your settings into the forums. If I drive some settings in this forums, like an open date or a lock date or a closed date, the children will inherit all of those settings. So if I lock it at the forum level, all the topics will be locked. So in the forums level, in the settings, I really wouldn't do anything, but give it a title. And if it's a forum that deserves a full description about its overarching purpose, if it's going to describe all the children, the topics that are in it, sure, put some information there. But let's stay away from all this stuff at the forums level, because the children will inherit all those settings and it will cause a lot of issues. And don't hook a forum to a grade book either. If you hook a forum up to a grade book and then you hook a topic up, you can hook them up to the same grade book, and then you're going in and you're overwriting the grades, and it's a big blah, blah, blah. So the forums are really just like your label maker at home, and then the real meat and potatoes of the discussion happen in the topic area. So those are the two strategies for how you want to organize your forums: bunch of topics in one forum, or you can have one topic per forum. In my world, we usually go week 3 forum and then week 3 topic. Week 4 forum, week 4 topic. I don't know why. I think this is just as efficient. It's 6 of one and a half a dozen of another. Well, let's go have some fun. Let's pull Frodo up and let's go in and drive some conversations into here and see what this looks like.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Back when we were going through the different, the lock and moderate and all the different settings, there's one that you skip, and that's to automatically mark all messages in the conversation as read. That ends up impact. I mean, if I click that, does that mean when a student opens up that conversation or that topic, everything in it is going to show up as that, oh, they read it because they opened it? Or how?
I have to go back and test that. I think it's just your view. I don't think that it messes with the student's view.
Because when I go to grade and I'm looking at whether or not they've read stuff, I have students say, well, I opened those, I looked at those, but when they open up one thing, there's like the threads of other conversations.
Right.
They don't get credit for having read them unless they literally click
on them.
One of them to expand them.
Yeah.
So they can see them in that threaded conversation.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let me take a look at that, and I forget exactly what that does.
Okay.
So I think that's a good use case, though, because we have that as well in my world.
It just makes grading really complex. We have students, knowing that they read things, or they can click that I've read everything button, and I don't know if they've read it or not.
Yeah, it's hard to gauge, and some people even come back and mark something unread once they've read it, just to remind themselves about it. It's a real tricky way to gauge it is tricky to yeah.
But this setting here, where it says automatically the messages and conversations read, that's me talking to me. It's not even setting up for students.
I'm going to test that and get you the final answer. That's my that's what I think it does. Thanks for pointing out that I skipped that setting, because I've looked at it and even yesterday I was like, I need to remember what that does. So.
And the statistics and grading, it does seem like you can see that though.
Right.
And then if you click on the student's name and you go to that, you can see what time they read the topic.
Yeah, the statistics and grading we'll take a look at that after I drive some data in here. And that's the area where I encourage you to probably even grade. But let's get some data in here. So now in this example, we didn't click the box to force a post before they could read. And so let's start a new conversation. Hello from Frodo. And let's post. And then we'll come in as Bilbo. And let's post into box lunches. We'll start a new conversation, and we'll hello from Bilbo. and let's post and reply. This is a question that students always ask me. So I've come in here, I've just posted at Bilbo, and I'm looking at a whole board, and all of them are, see where it reads here, it's new and it's big and it's bold and it looks important. And then the one that I just posted is like unbolded and like tiny and weak and doesn't look that important. And they call me and they go, Mr. Dom, how come everyone's post is new and mine's just wimpy? And it's because they've read them. So they've already posted it and they've read their own work, but you'll get that question. And as soon as I click into Frodo's, his will become off as well. You'll notice the profile picture follows you in the messages tool and in the forums tool now as well. So if you have your picture up there, it's going to follow you around. And let's reply to Frodo's. So basically the way this would go is, I've read your work, and I either agree or disagree, or I have an idea to add to it, right? And some people like to make sure it's not just like, hey, great job. They ask for a word count. I need 200 words in your replies, and they need to be something that is substantial, that encourages engagement and discourse. I need you to either add or do something with these ideas. This isn't a way to go type of thing. And you'll notice it's threaded now. And what will typically happen in this use case is that Frodo is only worried about his folder. And he is watching this all day long. He's on his phone. Oh, by the way, we talked about this before, right? So this is mobile. So they're on their phones and they'll come into their tools, into their forums. I'm on my iPhone right now and I'm in here. And I'm like, oh, I got a new thing. So they're in here, and they may even set up watch topics, and they can't wait for someone to reply to their idea. So what will typically happen is Frodo will come back in, and either depending on the add another idea, or disagree, or it just may terminate there, or it depends, or another student may come in. But then let's take another use case. Oh, I'm sorry, I got, I was doing so well there. I need to come in as Frodo. Okay, so Frodo, I've replied to Bilbo's, but then I think more interesting though is I'm more interested in my thread. So I'm Frodo, so I'm going to go into Bilbo's, his reply, and that's what I meant. So this is the second back and forth between us. And you'll see how it stepped in there. And then the Gandalf of the equation, or the instructor, may also come in and participate. And there's a few things that are going on here, so let me talk about it. So Frodo's got his original idea, and then Bilbo has stepped in one because he's a child of Frodo's reply, and then Frodo's replied back to Bilbo, so it stepped in again, letting you know that they're talking. Your conversation does not belong as a reply to Frodo, unless you're talking to Frodo and Bilbo's conversation. Your reply is probably to Frodo's original post, his original work. That's where you belong. So the key here is you just press reply to the person and the content that you want to talk to, and then the forums tool will thread it in to where it belongs. The other forums tool, it was straight linear. Post, reply, 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 reply. There's no definition on where that conversation belonged at all. So here, we'll reply to Frodo's initial post. And so now I'm stepped all the way back out. And so when Frodo comes in here, he can talk to me or our strain of conversation directly. So now Frodo has sort of two things. He's got this side conversation that he's having with Bilbo about his ideas. And then he can come in to, I'm sorry, I'm is me. I'm is the, too many hobbits.
Characters. This the personality you have is really complex to keep track of.
And then you throw Mickey Mouse in there, like where the hell did he come from? Right. So now Frodo's back in here. He's got another new message. Right. He's on his phone all day. Can't wait. And then I've come in here. So now he and I can have our own sidebar or take the conversation sort of in a different direction. And so let's take you need 20 students and some faculty in here for these to flesh out, but these will step in, they'll pop in. And so I think just the key is click reply to the person that you want to talk to, and then the threaded discussion board will put them in. So it's not time and date ordered. So I posted this one at 1:08 p.m., but if I come back in here, and I want to talk to Bilbo, so maybe I've got something for Bilbo. Maybe I want to jump into this conversation too. I'll click reply to him. And we take a look at the way this works that post is not at the bottom of the list, although it was, if you look at the date, where did I come? Although this is the last post in the conversation, which is at 1:15, 1:08 is at the bottom. So this is not a linear thing. It's a threaded thing, right? We want to thread the conversations in where they belong. Are there any questions about that? Yes, ma'am.
Can other students see what you have said?
Yeah, this is completely public forum. Every single word by every single person in here is viewable, unless there's some role that can't view it, and there's no role that can't view it. Let's grade one.
Trying to get your students to understand how to post or reply is really hard.
Well, the one thing I would do is I would not put your initial post in here. Don't come in early and write your initial conversation, because they'll figure the rest out. If you go in there first and post something like, hey, this is what I want you to write about, everyone's just going to reply to you. And it's going to go, and the whole thing's gone. That's what the view full description is for. Put that information in there. If you go in there and post, just put a post like, hey, this is who I am. I encourage, this is my bio or something, but don't do anything where they're replying for their grade to you, or even wait. Some people put theirs in first, that's fine, but the last thing you want is just everyone, because there's such a tremendous sense of ownership when you have your folder. Your name is on the board with 15 other students, and you have your folder, and people are replying to your area, and all this is you. If that's you and every student is underneath here, it does ruin it. And then maybe on the tool, I agree. I think they'll catch on. Maybe on the tool tips on here, on the view full description area, you want, I always tell them, just click reply to the person you want to talk to, and usually that helps. But what I see is when you're transitioning from the other kind is people still want to go in there and post the first one and ask the question, and everyone just replies to them, and it dies on the vine there. But when the students have the ownership of their own folders up there, it does. They just have it does make a lot of a difference. They have their name on the board as equal as anybody else, and their post looks just like yours. It just is your folder. But you're right, there may be some training and coaching involved, but if you're comfortable with it, and we can also create some sort of asset maybe that you could use in the classroom, a quick little video or something that you feel comfortable with that we can put in there. So to grade, let's go to statistics. There's two ways to grade. So there's one grade per topic, and some people combine those grades into one where they say, hey, you need to post once, and then you need to reply to a couple others. Or you could have in the grade book just one big participation grade at the end, maybe. Let's take a look at how to grade from here. So you click in here, and then you just click grade. This is the forum one that we chose before, the points, and then your comments, and then submit grade. Typically, you'll only be grading, oh, my Windows. Look at that. I can't get out of that. So that's one way to grade, and you typically just be grading that top level post. The other way to grade, and we have another specialized tool that we've developed to make this easier, and we can talk about that. But the other way to grade is from this screen. So here you have sort of a percentage read. We need to learn a little bit more about what that means and how students can or cannot get. They'll read their own, but a lot of times they won't read other people's. Read and unread and authored. And then we can drill into each student. And then let's go on to Frodo. And then now here we have all of Frodo's work. So we can tell at a glance in week 2 forum that Frodo was pretty active. We can get a quick glance that he's got 4 entries into that forum. And that he's read a lot. And then all these grades will go to the same grade. You can display in conversation. Let's click what that does. Let's click into that and see what that is. There's his authors with some word counts there if you're counting them. And then from here we can also grade, which gets us to that same grading. And then that grade, well, let's go ahead and drive a grade in there and see what it looks like in the forums tool. So good job, Frodo. Oh, I don't use this grade book. Where do I see my grades? Oh, there we are. So there's Frodo's 100. But so that's creating a forum, creating a topic, some best practices about posts and replies. Oh, if you are going to have replies, my recommendation is this: get the major body of work in early, right? So if you're doing things by week, you want that first major body of work, that first post, you want that in by Wednesday night or Thursday night, please. Because if you have a requirement for other students to reply to other students' major work, it's a real crapshoot on Sunday, you know, because students are out there looking for things to reply to, the people who want to get it done. And if there's no work for them to reply to and it's all due on Sunday night, so stagger it. Say, hey, listen, I need your main forum post due on a Wednesday or Thursday. And then the 2 replies that can happen on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It gives everyone time to come in and do that second piece to have the conversation or something like stagger it so you can drive the bulk of that content in there. Did you have a question?
I'm just thinking, I've got one of my classes up where I've done this. I've been playing with grading. I haven't figured out the best way for me to do it yet. So I'm just processing.
Yeah, there's, at the risk of, we have this really cool forum grader tool. And I'm going to talk to Laura and Rich about getting it into your instance. But what it does is a different view, and it just groups everyone up by round table. And it's really easy to grade, see participation, and I like to get it into your instance, but it's not mobile yet. So It will be in the next couple of months, so maybe by then we can have another talk about really making that grading process easier. But the two ways that I see it done is one big blanket participation grade. So at the very end of the course, you go into forum statistics and grading or something, and you could just see like, okay, that guy has, you know, there's 8 forums. I wanted 2 replies per forum. So that was whatever, you know, X amount of posts, and looks like that person was active, check. Or people just group it in their rubric. They say, well, your initial forum post is whatever, 70%, and your replies maybe are 15% each. That's very hard to track, and it takes a ton of work.
Yes.
It's not as hard to track with the forum grader tool that
Oh, the old discussion board.
that I want to show you.
Grids out there trying to.
Yeah, that we've developed a tool just for that. I just need to get it mobile before I could, because I don't want to give you a tool that is not mobile in your new mobile Sakai. And we'll evaluate that together. And it does make that a little bit, the display sort of encourages that. It's a little bit easier. If I had my computer, I'd show you the wireframes actually, but I think we can add it to your instance pretty easy. We're just developing it to make it much more mobile friendly. Yeah, so, or just skip participation. Yeah, I don't know. So we are just out of time. Topics, forums, posting, grading. I think we covered it all. But if you have any questions, I encourage you to have an open dialogue, keep the discourse going with Rich. We're happy to sit with you until your level of comfortability is high with this tool, because I know this is one of the bigger changes. You know, I think the main thing to key with Sakai 11 is it's pretty much the same, but this is a departure from the discussion forums tool, and that's going away. So thankfully we're able to convert those courses, but I still want you to be very comfortable with creating new forums and topics in your new courses. I think we'll be able to convert, as we showed earlier, the old ones, but that's just really for a read-only sake. I don't think we're going to be able to convert your courses and then you're just going to be able to use those forums moving forward. I think that's not the purpose of that. The purpose, so there's going to be some redesign where you're going to have to take another look at the forums tool and decide how you want to sort of re-engineer what you're doing now if you're using the old one. Yes. Yes, sir. Yeah. Do you want me to stop the share?
Yes.
Is there a question? I just want to make, was there participants?